Okay, I hope it's working now, because Jesus. Okay, yeah, it's working now. Ha ha ha, funny. I have no idea what it was doing. I think it was like picking up the camera audio or the desktop audio. I'm not sure what it was picking up. I'm so sorry. But seems like it's working now. It's only picking up my microphone audio, so I guess that's just gonna have to do. So sorry for the delay on the audio. I was talking and not even paying attention until I like saw um that the little green bar for my audio wasn't moving and I'm just like, "Oh, shucks. They can't hear me." So, how you been? How's things? How are you feeling today? I've been pretty sick and busy with school and life, so I haven't been able to stream like I used to before, but I'm here now. Hi, hello, how are you? My name is Lonely Sickos, and I hope you guys are doing well, and if not, welcome to the club. So, it's been a while, hasn't it? It's been a while since I've streamed, and I I usually stream story-based well, yeah, just stories, true crime, and just anything spooky, dark, and mysterious. I'm all about that. But I also have spoken about my past. I'm very open with you guys when it comes to the things I go through. And I've been streaming on Twitch, I don't know for how long, but I forget that I changed platforms and I assume that you guys know a lot about me. Which probably, maybe, I don't know, but there's a lot of things that maybe the new followers that I have don't even know. So I want to talk a little bit about how it is growing up as me, like how my childhood molded me into Lonely Sickos, into me. And I put the tag of mental health because, it's not a good past. It's not nice, but it's my past. And I guess to be a lonely sicko, you gotta be a little bit sick in the head, you know? So, yeah. I started streaming on Omelette. I did not stream on Twitch before. Twitch is completely new to me. It's still very much new to me. And I now have a computer. Like now I can stream properly. I used to stream only on my phone. And it was a lot of mobile games. I'm really into like Call of Duty Mobile, and yeah, just I used to be a mobile streamer. So times change. I don't know how to really start with how I don't know how to start. I hope I put everything correct on this because I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. I always right away jump in to the story. I don't even I'm sorry. I keep saying I'm sorry. I'm sorry for what, dude? Okay, okay, okay. If you hear me coughing, it's because I'm already done. It's just like scrapey throat. So, I'm the second of four kids. So, I'm the second daughter of four girls. I have two younger sister and one older sister. When the first memory I have I remember even going to kindergarten. Like I have a very vivid memory. And it's kind of weird because my memory is very selective, which is sad. Like I don't know how the brain works, but there's moments in my memory that I completely forgot. Like there's just years within my memory that I just don't recall. So anyways, my first memory. Mm, my first memory was living in New Jersey. We lived in the first floor of like a three, four. No, it was like three floors. Yeah, it was three floors, and we lived on the first floor, and it looked like a little castle, the building, and there was our school, our preschool was nearby, and there was a really nice park in the front of the house. So it was really nice. My first memory was in that house. And I remember I used to be a crybaby for everything. I used to cry about everything. Like if I scraped my knee, if I bumped my head, like I would cry a lot whenever I would feel pain. So I wasn't like I wouldn't cry out of nothing. There was always a reason why I would cry. I was scared, hungry. I remember just crying. And I would always say mommy. Like my mom was a stay-at-home mom, so I would always cry out for mommy. Like I would literally cry out mommy, mommy, mommy. And my first memory was I don't remember what happened, but something happened. I was in pain and my mom was washing clothes. And I go in and I'm crying and I'm like, "Mommy, mommy, mommy." And my mom picked me up and she sat me down on the washing machine and she slapped me like a hard slap across the face. And even though I was so small, I just remember looking at the floor and tasting blood in my mouth. And just the question in my head in that moment was, why would she hurt me? And I just remember staring at the floor and just thinking like, why would mommy hurt me? And my mom looked at me and she said, "Don't you dare ever call me mommy." And I don't remember the rest. I guess she put me down. I don't know. But that's my first ever memory. And it was of my mom hitting me. After that, it was very normal for the abuse to happen. Very normal. I think within the Mexican culture, there's like being physical, violent towards your kid, like disciplinary, maybe the belt or uh, I don't know, the occasional shoe. Uh, it's very normal to get to a certain point of violence, but with my mom, it just got a little bit intense, severely. I didn't know what abuse was. Like I grew up with it, so I always assumed it. So I remember the day that my mom got pregnant with my baby sister. I remember when she was born, and I remember like her walking around. Like I remember my baby sister when she was small. And I also remember the first time that she got hit. And she was also pretty young. Like she couldn't even talk yet. Um it was a lot of random things. Like you couldn't really tell when you were gonna get hit. You couldn't really. It would be scary because you never knew when you were doing something wrong or right. So it was a lot of learning how to avoid. It was If she was cooking, you don't go into the kitchen. If she was in her room, you don't bother her, you don't knock. Like it was just avoid because you literally didn't know what would flip the switch and she would just beat the shit out of you. You never knew. So I remember the first time that she got hit and I was behind the door. My mom was I don't want to say hit, like my mom was beating the crap out of her. And I remember going up to the door because you feel the pain. Like I felt pain. I I didn't want my mom to hit my sister. Like in my little head, I just like who would hit someone if you love them, you know? Like I just felt so much pain. So I was gonna walk in and my sister grabs me and she's like, "No, don't. It's gonna go worse if you go in. Don't." And we just stood out the door and we were just crying, hearing my little sister just taking the blows. And I don't even remember what it was for, but I remember that we were so small and my oldest sister was the one who told me don't stop her. It'll go worse for you if you cut in, if you butt in. So yeah, core memory. But once you learn how to avoid, once you like once I started getting older, I started understanding more of how to be able to avoid. But at the same time, there would be situations where you couldn't really avoid. So we're four girls, and we would all stay in the same room. Like even though there was more rooms that we could go, we can have our own rooms. We didn't want that. We always wanted to be together. And we would hours play Barbies. Like we would always be in our room and we would always be playing Barbies for hours and hours. And like just the imagination. I was always, even though I was older, I would always play with my younger sisters and we would always play Barbies. Like I don't know for how long, but it was always something that we would do. That would be like the way to go. But we also had playing outside with our next door neighbors. So the cool thing about when I was growing up was that we had next door neighbors that were the same age as us, but they were all men. Thank you for the follow. They were all men. So it was so much fun just to like leave the house. But my older sister, she was never like that. She never played Barbies. She actually became just like my mom. She would beat the shit out of us. Whenever she could, she would do it. So she would stay at home while me and my younger sisters, we would always go play outside. Always, always. We were very making mud pies, like climbing trees, playing hide and go seek. And our next door neighbors were into like basketball and baseball. They had a trampoline, and we would just always be with them. Always, always. And they were, they're the typical American. And uh, us being, my mom being Mexican, and we speaking Spanish at home, it felt really nice to like not be. I don't want to say that in the USA there's a lot of racism, but there is. And I'm I look different. So I was very happy that they didn't criticize. And my two younger sisters, sh- my younger sister, Chris, she's blonde, and then my baby sister, she she's like me and a little bit darker. So it was really bad how people would be like, "You're not sisters. You guys don't look alike. You're not sisters. You're not sisters." But you're like, "We are. We grew up together. They came from the same belly. We never knew what were half sisters. We never knew." We would always say, "No, we are sisters. We are sisters." I never knew what half sisters were until mm, until the divorce happened. But that's ahead. So we would always be playing with men, and if they were, you know, doing what they were doing, we would stay in our room playing Barbies countless hours. I swear to God, we would even wake up the next day to continue playing Barbies. Like we had our own little story, and I would like I'll be the judge if it was realistic or not. Like I whenever we had to pick out clothes, I decided to do like this little crane game where I would give them my thumb and I would be the little crane. And I'll be like, "Okay, pick your Barbie clothes." And they would have a turn each little baby sister. Like I really tried to protect them for what was happening, but regardless, they knew the abuse did happen to them. So, um, countless times. Like I really don't know how to. So there was this one occasion. I've always been very good eating. Like even though I don't like the food, I'll eat it. Not because like I'm starving or anything. It's just like you can literally be like, "Oh, Sadia, I'll have you over for dinner, Lonely. Come on, eat this." I'll eat it in front of your face and I'll be like, "Yeah, I didn't like it." And I'll be, "What? You ate something you didn't like?" Like I can legit I'll I'll eat anything even though I don't like it. Um so whenever we would be eating, my mom was never a good cook. She never cooked. And when she did cook, it was ass, dude. It was straight up ass. So my oldest sister would always be like, "Here, Lonely, you eat it, you eat it." And I would just be like, "Oh, fuck." I would eat it because my mom would beat the shit out of you if you did not finish your food. So I would eat it. And I guess that's maybe why I became like a little bit more chunkier, more full, I don't know. And this one occasion, it was me and my sister and my blonde sister, Christy. It was me and Christy, and we were at the table. It was chicken soup. So yeah, I think it was chicken soup. And we both couldn't finish it. We were just there like, "No, mom, we can't." And my mom was just like, you're not gonna leave the table if you don't finish." So we were there for about, I don't know, it was hours, like 4 hours. And my sister decided to eat it, and she was like eating it, and she vomited inside the soup. And my mom, like, she heard like all the commotion, right? She comes in and she's like, "You're gonna eat it." I vomited in my soup because I saw her vomit and I saw her trying to eat her own vomit. I vomited in my soup. My mom just, whoops out the typical belt. She puts it on the table and she's like, "You're gonna fucking eat it." And we it was bad. We kept trying to chug it down and we just couldn't. We kept vomiting. And then it got to the point where we were vomiting even like other food, so it was like overflowing. So my stepdad was gonna get home, and my stepdad had no idea about the abuse that was happening. So my mom was just like, "Ah, fuck it, clean it up." And we started cleaning up everything. And I started joking about it because, it's sad, and I didn't want it to be sad. And I was just like, "Ha ha, Christy, you ate more vomit than me." She's like, "No, you did." And we were just goofing around about it. But that's what you start doing, you're kids, you don't understand. Um, the day that I realized that I madly respect my sister Christy was the day that it was my turn to be like, "Hey, don't cut in. Like when my mom would go on her rampage and she would beat the shit out of one of us. I don't know, for losing a pair of socks, for misplacing something, for not cleaning something. Like whenever she would go into her rampage and she would beat the shit out of one of us, we would have to stay out of the room, be far away, don't butt in because it's gonna go worse if you cut in, if you say something. So it was my turn to pass on that little lesson to my sister. And I remember like you feel so much pain. Like I don't know how to describe this. If you have siblings, you'll understand. Like it's like seeing your mom cry. It's like seeing someone you care about having that feeling in your little heart. Like I don't know how to describe it. Hi, thank you for the follow. So it was my turn, and my mom was beating my baby sister, and my sister Christy. I just say blonde Christy, like my blonde sister. Um, we were at the door, and you could hear the screaming, and I she wanted to cut in, and I was like, no, Christy, mom's gonna hate you if you cut in. Don't go in. And she didn't care, dude. She like straight out went up, and she's like, no, mom, stop, mom. She got her ass beat the hell out of. Like I think, and it was the first time that I felt mad respect, and I was just like, wow, like she took the beating of her life. My mom beat the crap out of her, like severely bad. And when my mom would beat us, she would close fist, dude, close fist, and it was until you blacked out, and it was bad. And she would make sure that when she would beat us, they would be towards the body. So like when we had our little clothes on, you know, or if like she mistakenly or she accidentally hit you in your face, you'll be like, "Oh, I fell off the tree. I fell from the stairs." You became a master on how to lie. Like I swear to God, even till this day, I lie for unnecessary things. Like I'll be at work, they'll be like, "Oh, why did you come in late?" Instead of saying like, "Oh, the bus came by late," no, I say something like, "Oh, it's because," like I say something different, and I'm just like, why do I do that? But I guess that's why I grew up lying. So, anyways, that my my sister Christy, that was the first time I saw courage, and I thought in my head, like, we can't stop her, but at least we can share the pain together. So yeah, Christy always had that courage. She always had that like the need to stop. She was always the one to say no, always the one to speak out. She was always the one who would just so basically the way me lonely I grew up was staying outside, playing outside, always outside. Scooter, bike. My dad had money. I grew up in a very wealthy area. I didn't understand money. I didn't understand the concept of money until I didn't have it anymore. But glad to see you back, Ninja Boy. Still here listening. Okay, okay, no worry, Ninja Boy. So, um, yeah, always playing outside. Always, always. And I grew up listening. I grew up in Salt Lake City, Utah, so there's a lot of Mormon people. So a lot of people did not curse. I never heard any like bad word in English, and no, it was just a lot of abuse at home. So when I started going to school, you got used to being the weird kid. You got used to wearing your turtlenecks and just being quiet. Um, I think it was around the age of I was probably in the third grade when I started having a lot of trouble reading. Like I was supposed to be reading at a third grade level, but I wasn't. And they pulled me aside into special classes. And I did not understand because, as a kid, you don't understand when they're talking to you about that stuff. And why I got pulled into special classes, I didn't understand. And they called my mom. My mom did not speak English till this day, even though she lived many, many years. She does not know English. So they called her and they told her that I was in these special classes and yada, yada, yada. And um, I brung in some paperwork that they told me. And I remember that they told me like I needed special help because I have dyslexia. And they were just, I remember them teaching me how to read, helping me with my spelling. Like it was just those type of classes. But because I didn't understand, and my mom didn't either, she just saw the paperwork and special needs classes and stuff, and that's when she started calling me an idiot. That's when she started getting that forever saying to me that you're an idiot. So I just want to say dyslexia does not affect your IQ. Like it's just how you how you I don't even know how to describe it. It's like when you see letters, you associate them with the sound, and it's not like that for me. Like I have to memorize what I'm reading. S- But anyways, those classes really helped me. I do pretty well. Like here and there, I always confuse my lefts and my rights. And whenever I see a word that looks similar to another one, I switch it. Or with numbers, I end up flipping them, which is really annoying now that I'm in college. I always have to double check whenever I'm doing a math equation because it's just okay. So, yeah, the third grade, told my mom, she signed the paperworks. Uh, sh she that's when she started calling me useless, that I was dumb. Um, yeah, just for me it was that, and then for my other sister it was that she was too blonde to like work. So I don't know why specifically towards us, but there was more verbal abuse. I'm having them quiet kid vibes too in the 10th grade. No, hold up. Let me tell you the juice. So, um, going to my special classes, and around the 5th grade, still wearing turtlenecks and, just being a total quiet kid. Just when I got into the 5th grade, I met Todd War. Like, dude, I even remember I met Todd War. We were all lined up to the drinking fountain, and we were in line, Everybody was taking their turn. And this kid, he cuts in, and I'm just like, hey, it's my turn. Like that stupid little nerdy kid. I was like, hey, it's my turn. And he's drinking still. He looks up at me and he's just like, fuck you, bitch. And he's still drinking. And I'm just there like baffled, like, what's a bitch? Like I had no idea what a bitch was. I was like, what's a bitch? So lunch came and I had a little friend and we went to the bathroom and I was washing my hands, and I remember my friend was talking to me about something, and I just stopped and I grabbed onto the sink and I looked down and I'm just like, "Hey, what's a bitch?" And she just looked at me with shock and she's like, "What do you mean you don't know?" And I'm like, "I don't know what a bitch is. What's a bitch?" And she's like, "That's a bad word, and it means a female who likes to take off her clothes." So I was so mad. I was just like, I don't like taking off my clothes, like I was enraged. So I get into the classroom. He's there, he's sitting on his desk. And I go in and I'm just like, you know what? You're the bitch. And then he just looks at me and he giggles and he's just like, you know what? I like you. And that's when my whole life changed. So Todd, he came from a foster family. He had been through a lot. So he was in a new foster family. It was also very abusive towards him, and it was like I finally connected with someone who had that background of abuse. Um, but his way of coping with it was being extremely violent, and I figured out how I could get attention. So when I was in the fifth grade, I started rebelling. I started wearing black. I started yelling at teachers, started telling them to fuck off. Then I started going to the principal's office, being sent outside on in the hall. Like I remember this one occasion that I couldn't shut the fuck up. I don't know why. Like I got into the class, I sat down in my regular spot, and I would always like play around under the desk, just like kicking feet and just fucking around, just and since I was really embarrassed to read because of my dyslexia, I would always like, whenever they would tell me, hey, start reading, I would just like, I would just say random stuff. And, like the teachers of total blah, 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 blah. And nope, lonely, out. And I'll be like, okay, cool. So whenever I would get into my little stages of just talking and talking, they would change, they would tell me to change my desk to go sit in another desk. And I remember um, the teacher was like, "Okay, Lonely, go change to this desk." And I remember laughing in my head and be like, bitch, I talk to everyone in this place. So he moved me, and there was Abram, a kid who knew how to draw in front of me. And I was like, yo, Abram, like whip out some colors. Let's I think I told him to draw like Homer Simpson or something. And he was like, yeah, oh, and I was just goofing around. So once I was sent to the principal's office for my behavior, I was sent to the counselor that they had there. I would just goof around. Like seriously, I don't know why, but I would just goof the hell around. Like he would try to talk to me, but at the same time you could tell he didn't care. So I would just go in there and I'd be like, "Hey, yo, what's up?" And he's like, "What are you doing here? You promised to behave." And I'd be like, "Yeah, you know me." And he would just be on his phone. Like he really didn't care. The principal didn't care because she was going to retire in a year. So she was like, whatever. But the vice principal, dude, she hated my guts. Like she straight up hated my guts. And whenever she would see me in there, she would try to make a bigger fuss about it. Like she would try to like she really tried to get me expelled, like not gonna lie, but she never got it. But anyways, um the principal was laid back. Like she could tell I was going through a lot, even though I never said what it was. Um then that counselor got fired. They got a new counselor. And whenever I was sent into the principal's office and they told me call your mom to come pick you up, um, or call your mom to tell her that you have stop and go, like the where they would make your parents go, but no one knew Spanish. So I used that completely to my advantage. Whenever they would make me call home, I would just talk in Spanish. I'd be like, "Hey, my parents don't know English." Like I'll tell her in Spanish. No one knew Spanish, and I would just call my mom and be like, "Yo, mom, like classes are being canceled or this and that." And it was until they started mailing that crap home that I got fucked. But it was good. It was good during the time that I could hide it. Minor props to Todd. He is so valid for making a lonely girl feel she isn't lonely. Well, once I started hanging out with Todd, I always had a friend since like the fourth, third grade. His name Fabian, and Fabian, even as kids, he had a crush on me, which I didn't understand. Like you don't see boys yet. It's just, I guess for me, I started like seeing boys once I was around the sixth grade. That's when I was like, oh wow. I was really into like High School Musical, Troy Bolton, Zac Efron. And I don't know, I was weird. I never really had any crushes or anything. Um, so I had Fabian and Todd. Todd was really reckless. He would always be yelling, fighting, just always breaking the rules. And once I started doing it, like I enjoyed it. It was like a thrill. And Fabian, he was always the good kid. He was really, really funny though. So I remember Todd was just like, we should be the Jokers. Let's be our crew name. We're the Jokers. So we would hang out by the slide and we would always be freestyling. Like we supposedly us. But um people started to get to know us because, like we were always those rebellious kids who would always be like doing things that we weren't supposed to. So we started getting like a little bit of reputation. And once the new school counselor came in, hated his guts. Hated him. So the school counselor came in and he was a total dick. Like he would confiscate everything, like your hot Cheetos, your little chips. He would confiscate everything, but he would do it because he wanted it, not because he had to. He would be like, "No, you can't bring hot Cheetos." Dude, I'm Latina. Like obviously I need the hot Cheetos. So I would always hook up people with like little snacks and stuff. And it was also around the time that I started stealing. It was just a lot of like thrills. Um, so yeah, I started stealing really common things like pens, ink pads, uh, just like really random ass stuff just for the thrill. Hi, Nugget Nugget. So once I started stealing all these random stuff, like I didn't get caught, but my friend did. You had the strict for no reason. Yeah, like the fuck. So I would always bring hot Cheetos, and if they catch you like sharing your hot Cheetos, they're like, no, it's not allowed because you guys lick your fingers and you guys touch more, and you guys are sharing germs. Uh, whatever. I still would bring in my hot Cheetos. And I remember that he would specifically go to my backpack, my locker, like he would just go up and he would bust my balls. And I would hang out after school because, I never wanted to be home because I would get my ass beat. So I would just go to school. I would be with my next door neighbors, and we had chalk. So the chalk. We were playing with our next door neighbors, and we had white chalk, and we were just goofing around, just playing. What was it? That stupid game where it's one, two, three, hopscotch? I don't know. It was a stupid little game, and I had a great idea. I was just like, hey, let's go play at our school. Like, let's go down to elementary school down over here and, let's play in the slide. They have swings. Like, I convinced them to come. So it was my two younger sisters, the three boys next door, and we all went and we all had chalk. And when we got there, there was like some skater dudes. And I thought in my head, I was just like, they have no cameras. and I had chalk, and I hated the new counselor. And I was just like, what can I do? What can I do so people can like come against him? Like, what can I do to, to unite people? And I I grabbed the chalk and I whole ass um the playground, and I put fuck Mr. C. That's his nickname. That's what we used to call him. And yeah, I just like with the whole chalk everywhere, and my the other two neighbors, they didn't know who, they didn't go to that school. So they're like, "Who's that?" And I'm just like, "No, it's the counselor. He's a bitch. Don't worry about it." And I finished it, right? Next morning comes, and they always have us standing outside in lines, and then they pass us. Once the ring bells, they start passing us in, but we're always waiting outside in lines in our certain section. So everybody, I remember coming in that day and everybody was talking about it. Everybody was just like, "Oh my God, did you guys see what happened? Oh my God, that person's gonna get expelled." It wasn't even a big deal, but I was smiling on the inside. I was just like, "Yes, finally they're gonna notice that he's a piece of shit and finally someone's gonna do something." And no, what they started doing was like, "Oh my God, I bet that person is cool. Oh, I bet it's a guy. Oh, I bet it's an eighth grader." And they started idolizing. And I'm just like, "No, dude, don't do that. Fuck." Like instead of saying, "Yeah, he is a piece of shit," like let's do something about it. That's the reaction I wanted, but no. So I never said anything. Kept I kept quiet. I think it was until the next day that my friend, Sierra, she was like, "Oh my God, can you believe it? I'm pretty sure it was this guy who did it." Like, "Oh, wow." And she was like she said something that pissed me off. I think that it was like, "You think they did it for the attention? You think they did it?" And I got so mad and I was just like, "Dude, I did it." And she's like, "What? You did it?" And I'm just like, "Yes, I did it." And I didn't do it because of that. Let's get rid of Mr. C. Like tell everyone you know to you know file complaints to let's do something about it. And this is all because of fucking Hot Cheetos. But no, it was more than that. He was really taking he was he was being more than what he should. Like we're kids. I I wanted to be free. I hated my fucking house. I hated being home, and being at school was fun because I had friends. Like I could get away, they would feed me, and I could play. So I was so happy. I so I told her, I was just like, "No, it was me." And she's like, "What? It was you?" And I was like, "Yes, it was me. Um, like I want to rebel. I want people to see that he's a piece of shit. Like we have to get rid of him." And I fucked up. Later that same day, I got called into the principal's office. And I was just like, "Dude, I can't tell this bitch anything." So I got called in. And the vice principal was in the process of becoming the principal. She was taking like in charge of certain things. I remember once in the 8th grade, I had a really strict counselor, and I think it was racist. Dude, yes, you get a lot of people who are. Like I had a bag of bugs and some snacks because I was hungry. Dude, that's so bad. I was angry all day. Didn't even say sorry. I wanted to slap him, to be honest. Dude, it's because like I'm saying, he's taking authority that's not even allowed to be. Like he does not have the authority to be touching my shit, to be like taking away stuff, to be, what he did to you. Like shit, I would have, oh, but I remember it was that he came and he was like always checking my backpack. Like he would directly go towards me, and it was like something that he was not allowed to do. Like, okay, I get I get it that I can't be sharing my snackies, but like still you don't have the authority to come and check my shit. So, yeah, I did that. They called me into the principal's office. I was sitting down, vice principal. She hated my guts, and she was just like, "I know it was you." And I looked her straight in the eyes and I was like, "What do you mean? What was me?" And she's like, "Oh, I know it was you because um we have cameras in the front of the school." And I remember seeing skater dudes there, and I knew they were eighth graders. And I kept quiet. I was just like, "You know what? I'm not gonna say." And she's like, "I knew you were here. You were here on Sunday." And I was just like, "Yeah, I did come back. Yeah, I was here with my sisters and my neighbors." And she was like, "Well, I know it was you. I know it was you." But I knew she didn't have any evidence. Like she was just trying to get me to talk. And I was like, "No, I didn't do anything." And she's like, "You know what? I'm gonna find a way to get you expelled, and you're gonna see, this is all for your own good, and you're messing up your life." And like the typical stupid um talk. And then they send me into the counselor. She's like, "Go with Mr. C." And I was like, "Fuck, everything but him." And I go in, and I remember sitting down, and he's looking me up and down, and he's like, "What? So you wanted Like, he's like, "What? So you did this, right? You were the one who did this." And I looked at him and I'm just like, "Mr. C, if I wanted to tell you fuck you, I would do it to your face. Like, it wasn't me." And he just looked at me and he said, I remember this line. He said, I watch Lie to Me. You know that TV show where they do like little nonverbal giveaways to when you're lying or not? And he was like, "Lonely, I watch Lie to Me." And I was just looking at him and I'm just like, "Great, so I'm not lying." And he knew I hated him. So he's like, "Okay." Pulls out like a drawer, shitload of hot Cheetos, shitload of snackies, and I'm like, "This bitch, he knows I hate him." And he pulls out all these snacks and he opens up like a bag of Cheetos and he's like, "Okay, you can leave." And I'm, fucker, like, ugh. But it was all little mind games. Like I took it as a game. And it's lemonade. Um, Instead of snatching it out of my hands. Area I live in Chicago. Did you get it later? No. Well, yeah, that was me at school. Like I would always be rebel. I would be the rebel. I would be the class clown. I would always be the one getting people together. Like I really enjoyed organizing people and like somehow did I ever get caught? No, never got caught. Never got caught. I got caught for other things. When I was in the sixth grade, that's when I started doing things that I probably shouldn't. So at home, I guess the worst beating that I ever got at home was, I'll tell you guys. So the worst ass beating I got was when I was probably, yeah, I was in the sixth grade, I think. 13, maybe. I don't know. I was eating my mom's food, and she would always cook white rice. And she never knew how to cook it. Like it was just plain out disgusting. It tasted like cardboard. Like I don't even know how to I couldn't eat it. And I remember grabbing the plate and my mom was chilling in the living room. So I grabbed the plate and I'm walking over there to tell her like, "Mom, I don't want any more," and to show her the plate. I tripped and the little rice fell on the carpet in the living room and my mom got furious. She stood up and I got on my knees and I was just like picking up little rice and my mom started kicking me like bad kicking in my ribs. And and when I would fall over, she would be like, "Get the fuck up, get the fuck up." And, I would get up and and I would continue picking up the rice that I could. But it's rice on carpet and it's pretty hard. And you start picking up like other little gunkies. And I started picking up what I could, and she would just, punch and kick. And, whenever I would fall down, I would just have to get back up. And then I blacked out. And when I woke up, I was still there on the floor. Like when you black out, you imagine being out for like minutes, but it's not like that. It's pretty quick. Like you just zone out. And I blacked out. I woke up and like she was still beating the shit out of me. And she was like, "Eat it, eat it." And I had little hairs. It was all nasty, like it was on the floor. And she's like, "Eat it, eat it." And I ate it. And I don't remember the rest. I don't know if I vomited. I don't know if she made me eat it all. I don't remember. That was one of the worst ones I remember because this is when sixth grade comes to play. Never got caught. Teach me. Well, ninja boy, look, you're ninja. You're supposed to be the one teaching me. But I didn't get caught for that one. Um, I think, yeah. And then in the sixth grade, I became a really good bullshitter. Like I would always go to those little fresh kids, those kids who don't have problems, those kids who believe anything you say. So there was this one girl, this blonde girl, Natalia, I think it was. I don't remember. So Natalia, I would always tell her creepy stuff. Like I just enjoyed so much freaking out people. So I would be like, "Hey, Natalia, do you know over here in this house in the back, they take little girls like you and they do things to them?" And she's like, "What do you mean?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I don't know. Like men back there, they take girls like you. Watch out when you leave." Like I would just be busting. I would just be saying a bunch of crap because I like seeing how scared she would get. And it was just words. So on this one occasion, I told her that Bloody Mary. I was just like, "Oh, it's Bloody Mary." And it was like during the time that, "Oh yeah, say Bloody Mary to the mirror 3 times and she appears." Like it was during those type of games. And I remember telling Cassie, "Oh yeah, it's Cassie." Dude, it came out with that. Yeah, Cassie. I remember telling Cassie, like, "Hey Cassie, I asked Bloody Mary to come and kill you." And maybe now that I'm older, I'm just like, "Dude, I'm fucked up." But I was a child. And I was just like, "Hey, I told Bloody Mary to come and kill you. Like, she's gonna go and she's gonna do a couple of things." Like I was just, I fucked around with the wrong person. She went, told the, she told the principal, and like I was with my other crew. Like we had a crew. It was Todd, Fabian, Sierra, um, Brian. Like I would recruit people into our crew. And I would be like, "Dude, you're cool because you're funny. Dude, you're cool because you know how to draw. You're cool because you know how to rap." Like I would always pick them. So we were pretty well known in um in the school as troublemakers. So Cassie told the teacher, and she said that I called Bloody Mary, and that Bloody Mary was gonna kill her. And like type of white shit death threats. So the police were called, and since the police were called because the principal wanted to get me expelled. But she's a bitch. She can jack me off like she's not gonna do shit. So the police were called, and the police officer, I remember he was bald, and I feel like I joked around about him being bald, but I don't remember what I said. I remember I said something really offensive, but because you're a kid and you're like, fuck the police, you know? And, I really didn't care. I really didn't care. So the police was called, and the principal made us go into the principal's bathroom, like the teacher's bathroom. She made us do the Bloody Mary ritual, like the little stupid game of saying Bloody Mary, and then turning off the lights and looking into the mirror. And like she made us do the little stupid game. And the police were there because they heard me say the stories about the house in the back and that men take girls there. So, dude, I can't believe Cassie believed all that crap. But anyways, um, the police checked it out. They came, they asked around, and they left. Nothing really much came from that. Just the teacher trying to get me expelled. Well, the vice principal. But nothing happened. Nothing happened. Um, I guess that's the only time like I could say I got caught, like in my little lies. So, big cup, what's inside? How did the abuse stop? So I was rebelling. I was, I was crazy. I got into fights. I saw, like, I became friends with an older girl, and her name's Jenny. And Jenny was 15. She was held back. Well, they put her in class late, like she started school late, not that she was held back. Um, I should have been held back. I would jump a lot of classes. I wouldn't go into classes. I would fuck around. I would not turn in like I didn't care. But they implemented the No Child Left Behind program. And I was carried, basically. I was carried the whole way through. And Jenny, she was very, very hard. Like I feel bad if I hit someone. Like I just don't like inflicting like physical pain, I guess, because I never liked it when my mom did it to me, so I wouldn't do it. But when I would be really upset or like a bitch would talk smack, like I wouldn't be scared to go and, fuck people up. But her, it was on another level. Like maybe me as a kid, I would just pull little hair and, maybe occasional scratches, very pussy girl play. And her, no. I remember the first time that I saw her fight and she broke the girl's jaw. And I remember how she just beat the crap out of her. And when she got up and her mouth was just hanging open and she was just screaming. And I got away at time. Like I jumped in for her, but it like happened so quick that I just ran once I saw that. It was like the most scariest thing I ever saw at school. I think she got like sent home for like 2 months. I don't remember, but she was sent home. And like after that, I would just send other people. Like I would organize and I would be like, yo, this guy's talking smack, or this one is talking smack. Like send in like, yo, Brandon, you can take care of this, or hey, Todd, I know you can do this. And like I was the one who would always be masterminding everything, and occasionally Fabian. So I was always very happy. And when we were at home, I would still play Barbies with my little sisters, and we would play outside, and I would organize games for them. And um, so it was my sister barely started kindergarten, my baby sister, and my mom would have to drive us home because, well, she would have to drive us to school on snowy days because we could walk to school. We would always walk to school, but whenever it was really, really cold, my mom would drive us. So it was December, it was snowing outside, and my little sister she was always sleeping in. It's her first couple of months in kindergarten. She wasn't used to waking up early, and she wasn't waking up one morning. And my oldest sister, being the mean bitch that she was like, I'm gonna go wake up my mom. And me and my other sister, Christy, were just like, no, no, don't wake her up, don't wake her up. And we were just like, Magali, Magali, wake up, wake up. And, she wouldn't get up. She, tiny, tiny little thing. I see kindergarten, I see kinder, I see, like, I, I don't know why I do this, but whenever I see like an elementary school and I see the little kindergartners, like the first, um, they're babies, dude. They're babies. And I see like I see the ages of when my mom would abuse the shit out of me, when she would beat the crap out of me. And I see those ages and I'm just like, dude, they're babies. Like, how can you hit your kid the way that you would hit us? But anyways, my sister wasn't waking up and my oldest sister was like, I'm gonna go wake up mom. And we were like, no, no, don't. She goes and she wakes up my mom. And my mom comes in with all the anger in her soul, just grabs my sister by the hair, pulls her back into the closet, starts beating the shit out of her, like closed fist, beating the crap out of her, like a little rag doll, just beating her, beating her. And Christy, being the way she was, she was the only one out of us that had the guts to cut in and be like, no, mommy, no. And I always do the little hand because I remember her doing that. Um, she cut in, and my mom like straight up punched her in her face, and Chrissy just blup. And my mom continued to beat the shit out of my baby sister. And then she got into the corner, and she was in the corner like a little ball, and my mom was just kicking her. And that's when I cut in, and I'm just like, Mom, stop. We're gonna be late. That's what I said. Like, I was like, Mom, stop. We're gonna be late. And then my mom just looked at me and she just like complete black, like nothing. And she's like, get your sister ready. And she left to go warm up the car. And my two sisters were crying. And my oldest sister grabs my baby sister too by the hair and she's like, come on, stupid, come on. She takes her to the bathroom and starts doing her hair. And I go with my sister Christy, and I'm just like, I'm in shock because Christy took a whole punch to the face, and Christy was just like, she's like, did she stop? And I'm like, yeah, she stopped, and she was just crying, and I'm like, come on, we have to get ready, and she's like, yeah, let's go get ready, and we were at in the car, and I remember my sister wouldn't stop crying. My baby sister, she kept crying. And my mom turned around, like she was in the driver's seat, she turned around and she looked at all of us and she said, stop fucking crying or I'll give you a reason to cry. I have three kids and they are my babies. I would give my life for them. The whole world shifts when you recognize that. I am so sorry for your story. It's okay. Like, at the same time, I'm happy that I will never be like my mom. Like, I'm straight up happy that I'm not going to repeat that cycle because I now realize now that I forgive my mom for what she did, but it doesn't make me forget like the pain in my soul. I can like the fear that I always had, the pain of watching my sisters, and whenever I see kids around the age where I was abused, where I just think about how do you harm your baby that way? Like how they're innocent, you know, like it's not their fault. So my mom turned around and she said, "I'll give you a fucking reason to cry. Sh Shut up or I'll give you a reason to cry." All in Spanish, by the way. Like, um, we got to school, and I think maybe around we started school at 8:15, and around 10, um, the little speaker came on, and it was like, "Shh, lonely to the principal's office." And everybody's like, "Oh, what did you do again, lonely?" Like, but I was scared. Like I was still with that little I was still scared because I knew something was different. Like I could just feel it in my heart that something was different. So I go into the principal's office and I feel small as hell. I feel so tiny. And I go in and I see this well-dressed lady, super well-dressed, really nice, and I'm just like, "Wow, she looks so pretty." I remember saying that. She's so pretty. And she's like, "Oh, hi, Lonely. Like, I just want to talk to you. Do you mind if we sit down and we have a talk?" And we sat down, and she's like, "Can you tell me about your morning? Like, how was your morning? How was your day?" You know, I'm used to this. I'm used to the drill. I'm used to just saying the lies, not saying anything. So, dude, before this, let me tell you, in the fifth grade, they put on a video and they were describing all the abuses, sexual abuse, domestic abuse, like all the type of abuses. And the lights were turned off. It was like a video, a projected video. And the sexual abuse, um, neglect, and physical abuse. So they put on the video, and once they were done, they turned on the lights, and they're like, I remember all the kids were like looking around like, "Oh my God," like because the teacher was like, "Does this happen to any one of you? Like, does anyone suffer from any of these abuses?" And everybody was so shocked. Everybody was turning around like with disgust. And I wanted to raise my little hand. I really did, but I felt so ashamed. Like everybody was so scared. Everybody was so shocked. And I was just like, Isn't this normal?" So, anyways, I knew what my mom was doing was wrong. So, when I went to go talk to the lady, I had fear. I was scared. And she's like, "How was your morning? How was your day?" And I was like, "I woke up, I had cereal, and I came to school." And she's like, "Okay, good. Um, Tell me how the morning was for your younger sister, Magali. How was her morning?" And I remember like, dude, it's so easy to read a kid's mind. It's so easy to pick up on the signs. And especially when it came to this, it was easy to see how much shame I had. So I looked down and I'm just like, "Oh, she had a hard morning. She didn't want to wake up, so she had a hard morning." And she's like, "Okay, did your mom help her wake up?" And I was just like, "No, my mom made her wake up." And she and she was like, "Okay, how did your mom made her wake up?" Like she had such a way to talk to me that I felt comfortable. And I told her. I told her everything. I told her how my mom had picked her up, how she shook her, how she started punching her, how my sister couldn't. Like I told her everything, but I started crying because it was like a little secret that I always had. And I started crying like really, really bad. And she's like, "It's okay, it's okay. You're not doing anything wrong. It's okay." And she's like, "I'm gonna call your sister. You can wait here with your sister Christy, my blonde sister." And she opens the door, and I remember I was crying, like I was wiping my little tears. and my sister Christy was in there with her little, she had since my mom had punched her in the face, she had like it was red. It was kind of like you could tell she got hit. And I was walking in and she had a little juice box and she was sitting like on a examination table, like those doctor lay down tables. She was sitting on one of those and she was with her little juice and she was just moving her little legs and dude, I don't know why I find it so funny. The lady opened the door for me and I was like wiping my tears. I see my sister here all smiling with her little juice and she's like, hee hee, my mom hits us. And I'm just like, and I laughed. And then the lady was like, "Yeah, we know, we know." And she closes the door, and I go in with Christy, and she's like, "Don't worry, don't worry. They'll bring you your juice. They'll bring you your juice." Because she had her little juice box. And she's like, "Don't worry, they'll bring you your juice." And I just kept wiping my tears, and I'm just like, "You're not scared?" And she's like, "Scared of what?" And I'm like, you know? And no, she wasn't scared at all. She was just like nothing. And every time they opened the door, my oldest sister came in and she was crying too. And she said the same thing. My mom hits us. Um, they came in, the police started taking pictures of us, and the lady sat us down. She gave us a card, and she said she was with Child Protective Services. And yeah, she gave us a card and she says, "We're going to take you guys home, but I want you guys to know that your sister, my young sister, she had a black eye, she had severe bruising, and she had peed on herself." So the teacher was the one, the I'm glad for her. Her teacher was the one who called the police and then called my dad. And then that's when my dad came and he saw, and that's when my mom got um that's when my mom got caught with what she was doing. And this went on for years. Like I'm telling you, my first memory ever was her slapping me across the face. So it feels like it was all a dream. But anyways, the police takes us home, and once we get home, my mom is there, and my mom's crying, like straight up crying, and my dad is there, and my dad's like helping her like just translating. And my mom gets down on her knees and she hugs us. And she's like, "I'm so sorry. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know it was harming you guys." In my head, I was just like, she's lying. She's doing this because everybody's seeing her. She's lying. Like I feel so bad that I thought about it in that way. But I straight up, I was like, "You're not gonna change. It doesn't matter." No. And my sisters started crying. Like all, my other sisters started crying. And I didn't. I wasn't crying. I knew she was lying. I knew she meant everything she did to us. Or at least I was still holding on to that rage. And my dad was, the police was just like, You can file a report. There can be some consequences over this. I highly recommend that you do get a report done and just like we're gonna have you guys take counseling, and if not, the custody is gonna pass over to your brother, my uncle. And they were just talking, and they're just like, "We need you guys to go to your room." So we went into the room, and that was the first time I got to see my baby sister. And she looked pretty messed up, but it wasn't like something new. It was just like, is it really gonna stop now? And when we hugged her, my oldest sister didn't. Like she was, I think like my oldest sister, she's the same way as my mom. Like she exact same way. So I don't know how to call it, but she didn't. She just stayed alone. And I was hugging my two sisters, and I'm just like, it's gonna be okay. Um, Dad knows now. It's all gonna be okay. And let's play Barbies. Let's get our mind off of things. And and I think later on, my oldest sister did join playing Barbies, just like trying to distract, trying to forget. And then counseling started, family therapy, counseling. I don't even know how to call it. It was mandatory. My mom had to leave for about 6 months, I think it was, for her to get therapy. And the hitting didn't stop. Like it did really go down compared to what she was doing. But there was the occasional slap, the occasional, but nothing compared to how it used to be. And she never said that she was sorry. And the verbal, I think once the physical abuse stopped, that's when a lot of verbal abuse started, like straight up belittling. And just with my dyslexia, I was always put into the you're not gonna do shit with your life. You're useless. I don't care. Or I need this for school. I need this. No, you're a dumbass. No. Like you can tell my mom always had a preference, and I wasn't one of them. So, um, I was still being very reckless, and I started smoking. I started doing drugs whenever my mom would like beat me. So I would do pills and weed, and I would get home and she would just beat the crap out of me. And I wouldn't feel anything. I would be like, wow, this stuff is good, this stuff makes me feel happy. Now, being such a baby and doing all this stuff, now that I'm older, I'm just like, damn. And I really regret and I feel really bad that I could never have that childhood. Like I feel like if it weren't for my next door neighbors and if it wasn't for my baby sisters, I wouldn't be here. Like straight up, I wouldn't. I would be either a junkie or dead. Like I just, um, and this is when true loneliness came in. Like my accident. That's when depression happened. Um, like I said, I always used to believe myself strong. I used to dress up in black and just, I was the strong one I had to be. And there was a manhole, a sewer top manhole, the metallic heavy ones in the front of the house. And we were goofing around, and I wanted to be like I was strong. So it was my two baby sisters, the three next door neighbors, and we were all holding on to this manhole, to this metallic lid on the street. I know you know what one. And I chopped off my fingers. And when that happened, you would you would think pain, but no. It was like a really sharp pinch, like yeah, just like a really a sewer manhole. Yeah, like the top lids that whenever you're driving in a car or there's like they make a little sound, like the manhole pots, like the sewer lids, the metallic sewer lids. Yeah. So I had my accident on that because we were all holding on to it and we were like, let go at one, two, three, and we all let go, but I was too slow and it chopped off my um the two tips of my right hand. It was really fast, and I remember pulling out and just going, "Oh, fuck, fuck." And I was just doing this, and I remember seeing blood just like sprinkle everywhere, and I felt blood on my face, and I was just like, "What?" I looked down, and it's just straight up blood. And I like in that moment, I guess it was shock. I just look at it, and I'm just like, "Oh, I'll put on some band-aids. I'll just go in and I'll wash up, like let me go to the house and I'll wash it up." And I started walking towards the house, not crying or anything, just like walking. And I start opening the door, and like all the kids were just like they were quiet because they were seeing so much blood, and they were just quiet. And I was the one who started walking, and I was just walking, and I opened the door, and I start opening the door to get into the house. My mom's in the kitchen, and there's a stairway going up and a stairway going down. So once I open the door, I see my mom upstairs cooking in the kitchen, and I look at my hand and I see bone. Like that, when I see my bone, it feels so unreal. And I saw my bone, and I sat down on the stairs, and I looked at it, and I was just like, "Is that my bone?" And that's when it hit me, and I started crying. Not like scream crying or anything, I just started crying. And my mom was just like, "Why the fuck are you crying, you stupid worthless, blah blah." And she was walking down to like hit me, but then she saw like me holding my hand, and it was tons of blood. And she saw me, and then she's like, "I don't have the fucking car. I can't take you to the hospital. You're such an idiot, blah 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 blah." And she goes onto the phone, and she starts calling like my uncle, and then she also calls 911 for an ambulance. And it seems so just so unreal. Then my grandparents, well, they're not my grandparents, but um they came, and they put a white towel, like they put a white towel, and they covered it for me, and I was just holding on to it, and everything was just turning red, and I was scared. My uncle came faster than the ambulance, so we went into my uncle's car. They took me to the hospital. They had to pin me down so they can inject that metallic, what's it called? The ana, I know it in Spanish, but I forgot. Well, they injected me the little nummy thing, those big metallic ones, and they just. So, like I said, my dad had money. He did not have insurance though, and it being America, you know. So, um, he no shade. Like my stepdad was a really good dad, but here comes next, daddy issues. So my dad comes, he's like, "I want the best doctor for her." And they're like, "Well, she's gonna lose her fingers. We're gonna have to chop off her fingers. That's like the only option." And my dad was like, "No, no, 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 no." And they called in a special doctor, the best of the state. That's what they always say. So they called in like a really good doctor, well known for finger injuries. And he's like, "We have three options here. We can either sew it to my palm, and it's gonna have like it's gonna forever be like hard for me to move, like it's gonna have joint problems, or we can cut off the tips." But the last option was con surgically attaching it to my stomach. Not my stomach, but my stomach area for it to regenerate skin so they can get skin from my stomach, from my stomach area and pass it on to my fingers. And my dad's like, "Yes, let's do that." And he's like, "This is very long, very extremely painful. It's her right hand." And I remember my dad saying, "She has to learn, this." And I'm grateful that they didn't cut off my fingers. So I went into surgery, had them surgically attached to my stomach area, and they were attached for about they had to be attached for 6 months. And it's a fucked up story, but I don't remember how it happened. So I go into surgery, I get my fingers attached, I wake up, and it's the most disgusting feeling. Waking up from anesthesia. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but waking up from that bull crap is so disgusting. You could still smell it. It's like everywhere in your head. You can smell the stink. They did the little mask thing, they put it on, and then they're like, count backwards from 10. And I was like, 10, 9, and I passed out quick. Um, so yeah, it was waking up from surgery was one of the most disgusting, nastiest feelings ever, ever, ever. It was very, I wouldn't desire that on anyone. It was really nasty. So I woke up in a lot of pain. And yeah, like, "Oh, well, your checkup is gonna be in 3 months, and we'll see you in 3 months." So I had my hand attached. I couldn't really shower. I couldn't really even wipe my own ass. Like, I couldn't do a lot of things. And it was really sad because I couldn't go to school anymore. And school was like the whole motive for me. School was where I had my little friends. I couldn't play outside anymore. I was always in so much pain. And my my dad started losing a lot of money. It started medical bills started piling up, and for the beginning, my dad connected cable. We never had like, even though he had money, he never paid for like cable services. Like, it was just he had his PlayStation, and he would chill out with his games, but we never had cable. He connected cable, and I became a complete couch potato. Like, they got like this really fancy big chair, and I, yeah, I couldn't move. I would just sit there in misery and just wait for my painkillers. And I don't I I didn't know you can get hooked on painkillers. But I remember when my dad didn't have enough money for the painkillers, and he was like, "We can't get you them." And there's not enough money. And I would always be like, every night, every day, just there. And my mom didn't, if she didn't like taking care of us, less a sick me. And she would, sometimes bathe me. She would sometimes help me go to the bathroom. But it was just a lot of belittling, and just a lot of body shaming. It was really hard. So I started watching a lot of TV, which was a good thing. And that's when I found Ghost Adventures, which is a paranormal channel, paranormal investigators, and it was really, really good. Like, I enjoyed that show so, so much, and it made my day. So that's when I started getting into the paranormal, and I'm just like, I've seen this before. Like, finally, someone's investigating it, you know? And it was just pain after pain after pain. And that's when I became very depressed. And my friends from school came, my teacher came, and she brought me like this whole bag of like get well soon cards from all the little kids at school. And I remember getting these little get well soon cards and I pinned them up to like a little section in between my bunk bed and I pinned them up and I'm just like I would just sit there and I would just feel so happy that someone remembered me. And I don't know what I did. I don't know what happened, but my mom got upset and she came in and she took all the little cards off, like she yanked them all off and she threw them all in the garbage. All of them. Even though I was, I don't know, I cried so much. And this is when I met I met the person who changed my life. Since I wasn't going to school, the state had to assign like a homeschool teacher. No child left behind program. So I was assigned a homeschool teacher and it it's like everything changed. I was always alone, and during the time that I was alone and sick was the time that I saw how my dad actually was. And he would belittle my mom. He would yell at her and tell her that she was just Mexican garbage. Like, I lost complete respect for that man. He would come home. He was cheating on my mom. He had a mistress, and uh, she was a complete bitch. She would always call my mom and she would be like, "Your man's sleeping with me. Your man is here in my bed." Like she was one of those type of typical bitches. And I would see how much my mom would cry. And my mom had discovered that he was being unfaithful. And my dad came home as soon as she told me. She's like, "Oh my God, Lonely, your dad is cheating on me." And I was just like, "What, mom? He is?" And like it was like 5 minutes later, he comes, pulls in the driveway. Bus goes into the house, starts grabbing her clothes and just throwing it on the floor, just like and saying the most disgusting things to my mom. And I was just standing there in the doorway, and he was just calling her all things, calling her every single thing that he could. And my mom was just crying. And then my mom was just like, "Not in front of the kid, not in front of the kid." And my dad turned and he looked at me, but he looked at me like another piece of furniture in the room. Like he didn't see me. It was like, and he left. And even though I had my hand surgically attached to my stomach, I care deeply for my mom. And I was trying to bend down and help her pick up her clothes. It was an extreme amount of pain, but I felt like she was going through more pain than I was. And she had a little music box and she would put the little music box to play and she would just cry. I would just be there and she would say, "Don't bend down, don't bend down." I said, "It's okay, Mom, I want to help you." So yeah, my dad was a complete piece of shit. And that was the day that I lost respect for him. So when this homeschool teacher came, right, I was on the floor. I didn't shower. I hadn't showered. I knew I smelled bad. I had a little pillow and I was just there on the floor, just looking at the ceiling, just alone in my thoughts and just a lot of pain. And she came in and she was like, "Hi, my name is Ya." I don't even remember her name. She came in and um she actually saw me. Okay, milk, milk. You're okay. Um, she big stretchy. She actually saw me. Like she looked at me. Like she straight up looked at me, and she didn't like just see another piece of furniture, another thing in the room. She saw me. I don't know how to describe it, but and she laid down and she got close to me and she's like, "Give me some pillow." And I had always been very I never took school seriously. I didn't even know how to multiply. I didn't know my times tables. I didn't know how to divide. I didn't know basic math and I didn't know how to read. And I was already in the sixth grade. And she got down and she's like, "What do you want to learn?" And and I was like, "I don't know what I want to learn." And she was like, "Okay, what don't you know how to do?" And I told her, and she's like, "Okay, I'll teach you." And she started bringing books, and she would bring little snacks, like those little tiny mini bites of like Kisses and Hershey's, and she would bring little chocolates, and whenever I would do something right, she would give me a little chocolate, and she would be very, very nice, extremely nice. And I remember, I remember how we were sitting together and we were reading, and she said, "Lonely, don't you ever think that the things you're doing in your life is ruining your life, not theirs?" And I was, I thought about it, and she's like, "The things you're doing are only harming your future, not theirs." And it really made me think, like, I've been doing everything wrong, like I would show my rage in such a wrong way. Like I was using my rage to inflict damage, to just be a bitch to everyone. And I was harming my own future. And I really thought about it. Like I really thought about it. And that's when I I don't know if I started crying or something. I don't remember. But I remember those words that she told me. And I I thought like I'm gonna get better. I'm gonna if they think I'm an idiot, if my mom thinks I'm a piece of shit and I'm gonna do nothing with my life, I'm gonna show her what the fuck I can do. Not for her, not for anyone else. It's gonna be for me, but I'm gonna fucking show her what I can do. And that's when I started using my rage, my anger towards something different. So, sorry. So, my first attempt on suicide was when I was during that time that I had my hand surgically attached to my stomach. My dad had found me in the shower, butt naked with the razor. As a kid, you really don't think about everything that you have, like your future or anything. You just think about the pain in the moment and how everything changes. And I guess I was crying too loud and he came in. He simply just said, "Let's not do that." And I didn't. So I once I came back to school, I used to be that little kid that everybody would want to hang around me, like everybody knew me. And when I came in, I remember the whole ball of kids coming around me and they're like, "Oh, lonely, lonely," Um, and I felt so left behind. Everybody seemed to go on with their lives without me, and it's like time won't stop because of me, and I just felt like so left behind. And I showed my fingers, and everybody's like, "Oh, you mushroom fingers," and like all this other stuff. I didn't give a fuck. I didn't care. I came in with a new ambition, and I came in to prove that even though my mom said I was stupid, I knew I wasn't stupid. So, bing bada boom. School became my bitch. It was so easy. Once I started paying attention and just honestly doing the work, it just became a thing of being obedient. And I realized that the things I was saying, like cursing at teachers and, doing everything I was doing was like really unnecessary. So, yeah, um, depression really changes someone. So when I came back, I was still in that popular niche high group, whatever. But then, um, the people that I started hanging out with, they started getting into things that were just, they started getting into problems with the law. They were carrying drugs. They were doing more things that they weren't supposed to. And, like I slowly realized how alone I was. How lonely can I hug you? Psych. Don't know hug. Give me a hug. It's okay. It's fine. Um, yeah, I felt like everybody had left me behind, and I felt very alone. You know, I I felt like no one can understand, and I feel like a lot of the pain that I had during the time that I was a couch potato was the pain that changed me, like soul changed me. And I I I don't even know how to, like, I'm used to neglect, I'm used to abuse. So when I started having my first boyfriend, um he was a piece of shit, straight up. And that's what I thought love was. Like I never actually had real, honest, good, loving love. And you repeat the cycle. I swear to God, even though you say, "I'm not gonna do it," you do. I swear to God, you do. So when the whole infidelity happened, my mom, this is when she started telling us the truth. When she started saying, like, you guys are half sisters, like, all of you guys are from different dads, and, like, four baby daddies. So, and she's like, um, I'm gonna be putting in some, um, what's it called? For the child support. She started, putting in child support, demands and, like, started getting some money. And, she, no shade, like, I don't care. People can live their own life, but it was really, it didn't affect me as much, but I know it affected my younger sister. Like, once, because her being blonde and her whole life being told, like, you don't look like your sisters, and I remember her crying so much. and saying, "But we are sisters, right? But we are sisters." Yeah, we are. So yeah, the divorce happened. My mom had always had this routine of when she's doing her little shows, she runs to a different place. Like the first time that she had an argument with my dad, my stepdad, but I call him dad because he raised me. Um, my mom would run to California. She would go with a cousin. She would run to New York. She would just go everywhere. Estás mal. No estoy mal. No estoy mal. So she would just go to New York. She would just run away. So this time with the infidelity, my mom being Mexican, she's like, fuck it, I'm gonna go to Mexico. I was 15, did not know Spanish. I'm dyslexic, and we came here to Mexico. My dad fought for custody, and my two sisters um, we were separated, but it's okay because we were older. We understood, but still, I was left alone. Um, then it was it was the stupid, um, the belittling, the give me money, or you're not good enough, you're dumb, you're not gonna do shit with your life, yada yada blah blah. I got kicked out. I started doing hella weed, just getting fucked up. And, something in my head was just like, stop it. You could do better than this. And I got myself into college. I'm about to graduate. I'm 5 months from graduating. And I've never, ever failed a subject. I've never owed any subject. Like, I don't want to say that I'm smart, but I'm a very logical thinker. And I wasn't living with my mom. There was, I didn't speak for her for like 2 years. I made the mistake saying that I had money. Um, they wanted help for us to get a car. And yeah, and here in Mexico, it's completely different, my dude. Like it's so different. Like once I got into school, because I couldn't really speak Spanish, I understood Spanish because I grew up with my mom speaking Spanish, but I couldn't really speak it that well. It was a lot of bullying. Um, Me already having the loneliness, the depression, and just coming into a whole new type of environment just really fucked me up. And then going to puberty, I got severe acne. I had really crooked teeth. I wore glasses, um, and I would wear a ponytail. Like I was just your typical nerd outcast, the black sheep. And it was bad. I got molested. I I got abused. Um, Women here in Mexico, it's really hard. I'm not gonna lie, it's very dangerous being a woman here in Mexico. Like I, I think I've even streamed when I had a stalker just stalk, just keep knocking on the door. I've occasions where men just like I hate people looking at me. Like I can't be the center of attention anymore. Like I just I don't like it. I don't. Um, Mira, Juanqui, no sé quién eres, tampoco sé inglés, pero te quiero. También te quiero, Juanqui. Y gracias. No te apures, no estoy mala. Nada más estoy contando unos pedillos nomás. I'm ready to be a stay-at-home daddy. You're a good person, Nugget Thugget. I know you are. Um, yeah, so it took me a while to pick up Spanish. It took me about like I want to say 2 years, but still to this day, I can't like I it needs to be in English for me to like get it. But at the same time, I've been here for 7 years, so it's not like I'm gonna like my English is up to point. Like I'm starting to, I know Spanish and English to the so well to the point where I like they both nudge at each other. Like I don't know English so well. I don't know Spanish so well. So it's like, what the fuck am I? But um, yeah. Uh, Um, I was gonna say something else, but I forgot. Yeah. So yeah, I put myself into college. Now I'm not useless. Now I'm not stupid. But I have mad plans, my dude. I have mad plans. I'm just, it's hard. It's hard. Like during the whole time that I've been going to school, it's me having to study. I don't have people to rely on. Like this house is my grandma's house, but I pay my share of the water, the light, and food and everything. But I would have loved to be one of the kids in my school that their parents pay for their tuition, like their parents pay for their school, drive them home. Like I wish I had that support, but at the same time, I know that I'm strong and I know I could do it. Gracias, Juanqui. Like I know I could do it, but it's just I want that. Like I want to have that support. I want to have my home. I want to come home and have that feeling that I'm welcome, like come home to a loving family. And I don't want to have kids from several men. I want to have a family that I could never have, but not because I could never means that I want it for myself. Like, no, I want to be happy. I want to, I do want to have, I do want to have kids. Um, I do want to have babies. And I think I've been very honest and very open of how I view on how I view life. Like me as a woman who has worked my whole life, I can understand how bad men have it. Like I'm not trying to be like, oh yeah, I'm like team men and no, but I've been very open um to like making my husband a stay-at-home husband. Like I'm not against that. Like if we're looking to be equal, then why not be equal? Like I have I have an example for this. When it comes to a man, he starts dating a woman. This woman, she's not doing anything. She lives with her parents. She's well kept, a house girl, just, they're like, "Oh, good for you, bro. You did well. Like it's an achievement." But then a working woman wants to date a man who stays at home, doesn't do anything, just they're like, "Why are you dating a lazy guy? Why are you doing that?" It's like, dude, a woman can do it, but a man can't. Like, a woman can have social anxiety, but a man can't. Like, it's unfair. There's men who are made to be, to, not to, like, because that's me putting in a category, but some men are just not made to be killed by work. Like nowadays, society, work is just soul killing. It's it, it kills dreams. Making money is just selling your time and selling away your soul and just becoming dead inside. And if I could help my husband to be a good father, for him to take care of the house, to take care of the babies, why not? If I can, then that's what I think. If I want equality, then it should be equal. So I'm not against that. Like, if I start dating a man, like, dude, I'm not gonna be asking for him to have a car, for him to have all this stuff if I don't even have it, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna be like, oh, you're not doing this, you're not doing this. And it's like, dude, why am I asking for him to have that shit if I'm the one who wants it? Like, shouldn't I be the one who has it? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. There's women who are that way, and that's cool because as a woman, you have everything given to you. I'm gonna be honest, there is women advantages. Yes, there is. Like, literally, if a woman knows how to play her cards and she knows how to put down her little feet in the ground, she can have whatever the hell she wants. But it's also very lonely for men. Like, men don't have like the open space to cry, to talk, to really feel their emotions, and they really have to hide away. And when you have a partner, a female, it's like once again, I read this in a psychology book of Sigmund Simon, well, Freud. And he says that a male looks for a woman that reminds him of his mother or opposite of his mother. And that makes sense because a man grows up with his like the female energy, the love comes from the soft part, like his mother. So even when men are friends, like they even start saying things, like they start being like, "I love you, bro," but they say it jokingly. Or, it's like I don't know how to describe it, but I can understand how men have to hide away their emotions. And women don't. So yeah. To grow up like me, grow have severe daddy and mommy issues, um, child abuse. I don't know. I don't know what else to tell you. My life is really fucked up. Look how far you've gotten. I want more. This isn't anything. And my rage, I feel like it's cooled down a little bit, but I still have so much fucking rage. Like so much. I wish I knew how to control it better, but I don't know. And even like you would think I'm toxic, dude. I'm toxic. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know how to understand my emotions. Like in the moment, I'm numb as hell. Like I remember I've told you guys this story, but I was walking home from high school to take the bus, and I thought I was gonna get mugged. Like I thought they were gonna steal my backpack, but no. This man came in with intentions of raping me, and he pulled me aside with a machete, and he was close. He didn't rape me because two kids from the same high school, not two, but like a little group from the same high school were walking the same place to take the bus, and they saw me and they yelled out, and they said we we caught the cops, and the guys got scared and they left. I didn't even say thank you. Like I straight up got up, took my backpack, just walked away. And they came up to me and they're like, "Are you okay?" Blah, blah. And I was just like, "Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, I'm okay."
And it was until later that I broke down and started crying. And I have that. I have that in the moment that things happen in front of my face. I don't react. It's like I don't even feel. It's like a switch that like someone can be dying in front of me and I'll react like, try to help and do all this, but I won't feel any type of emotion. And it would be, I don't know how long it would take for me, but I react later. Hola, hola Gaby, ¿todo bien? Sí, todo bien. Algo tranquilo platicando aquí. Unos pedillos, ya tú sabes, unas cosillas. Pero, ay, no sé si hay muchos que hablan español, pero casi siempre los streams que hago no son en español. Pero pues puedo, puedo si quieres, a lo mejor en el futuro puedo estar hablando español. Un stream en español. No me incomoda, solamente que me siento con más confianza contando en inglés, pero pues ya sabes, sé español y a lo mejor posiblemente más en el futuro haga una historia en español. Buenísimo, amor, tranquila. Uy, también eres muy hermoso. Gracias. So, yeah, like you just I guess I I know that I know that my trauma has something to do with the fact that I'm just numb. So when I started dating and I didn't know what love was. I didn't know self-love. Like, let me just say that. My self-love was complete trash. It was complete ass. It was non-existent. And that's the hardest thing. Learning how to self-love. My my dude, if you are going through like hard stuff, if you have social anxiety, depression, you're thinking about suicide, like dude, I know how it feels. I know the feeling of complete loneliness and just, you know, death for me, how I view death is just like opening a door and just not knowing what's inside. Like just opening the door and it's just complete black. Like there's fear because it's the unknown, but at the same time, you know that the feelings are gonna stop. Um, I honestly don't have like a straight up cure for that. All I can say is learn how to self-love. Learn what you love in life, like what makes you feel like a little kid. For me, it was painting, drawing, and streaming, being able to talk to someone and not having to see someone's face. Like, dude, I'm talking to you like normal, but in person, I'm completely quiet. I cannot say anything. Hi, hi. Um, but yeah, in person, I'm quiet. I kind of have the same with English. The same with English. What do you mean? So yeah, I learn learn to self-love. Learn what makes you very happy. And once you have that, dude, everything becomes easier. Uh, there was a time where I couldn't go out anymore. Like I had severe social anxiety that I couldn't even like take out the trash. Like I was so scared of people seeing me. Like I just felt so useless. Like so. And what helped me was having friends, or at least people who knew me, that would come visit me. And I was able to, get up from it. But also I was prescribed 6 months of antidepressants. I only took three. But I feel more safe, IDK, to talk about feelings in English. Oh, okay. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. Like I grew up with English and I feel like a lot of my emotions, even my inner dialogue is in English, but I don't mind speaking in Spanish, like there's no problem. But I could do so maybe later on. I It's fine. Um, but yeah, I want you guys to know that everything's okay. And you might feel alone now. You might be just staring at me while you're taking a shit in the living room, quiet, alone in your room. But just know that everybody's in the same boat as you. Everybody's going to be going through something. Everybody's going to be scared of somebody saying this, somebody saying that. Just fuck it. You only live once. It doesn't matter. Who cares? No one cares. I swear to God that I've been doing social experiments. I wear really baggy clothes because I hate people knowing that. I don't know. I don't like sexualizing myself or like wearing very feminine clothes because I don't like men staring at me, men or women. I like being back. I like being in the background. So one time in my little social experiment, I was like, I'm gonna wear the same clothes. I would only change clothes when I would go to uni because like I'm always in pajamas. I don't care. So I was just like, I'm gonna wear the same clothes to uni. And I wore the same clothes to school for 3 days. No one said shit. No one said shit. And I'm like, dude, and I was so worried that people would see the way I dress, that they would care. No one fucking cares. And then I was just like, okay, like, I was trying to remember, what did this guy wear yesterday? Or what did she wear yesterday? And I'm like, bitch, I don't even remember. Like, who cares? I guess now that I'm older, now that I understand the things that happened to me, I'm just left with the scars. And I heard before that if I cry about it, that means they're not fully healed. So I know for a fact that the separation of me and my sisters and I really took a toll on me. Um, the fact that I was never given attention when I was little. Like I'm just I'm used to being neglected, I'm used to abuse, and whenever I love someone, I'm used to pushing those people away. Haha, same. I'm always in pajamas at home. Hell yeah. Like I get home and the first thing I do is change into my pajamas. Like I cannot be happy if I'm in like regular clothes and I sit on the bed. I find that so dirty. I'm just like, no, no. How was your birthday? Well, Nagitagi, it was all right. Like I had school. So I went to school. Oh yeah, now that you reminded me. I went to school and everybody gave me a hug. Even the professor gave me a hug. And I was like, "Oh, this is so nice." Like no one hugs me. No one ever hugs me. It was really nice. And this girl gave me a book. I'm always reading a book when I'm on the bus or listening to music. And it was really nice. It was really nice. I like hugs, but no one hugs me. Dude, also, when I'm on the bus, people avoid me. Like, I'm holding onto the little pole. Everybody does a circle around me. Like, no one gets near me. Like, men don't talk to me. I'm not approached. And if I am approached, it's always like the creepy guy. Like the guy who thinks he's a total Chad when he's just shit. And I'm saying it in this way, not meaning to be mean. Like, even if he's not well looking, even if he's I'm talking about those men who think themselves the most beautiful, amazing, smartest piece of shit ever. Like I hate those type of men. Like I just I feel really bad that no one approaches me. No one. Like you would think, but no one does. I'm always alone, and that's not a good thing as a female to be alone. But yeah, I always am. And I've recently met someone, and I feel like I can be me. Like besides here streaming with you guys, but it's different, you know. Like I wish I could be like this in front of people, but I can't, dude. I can't. I'm always so quiet, so scared to speak, so timid, even though I think so much and, you know, it's weird too. No, Nugget. Just saying that I have I have a friend, but it's just it's sad. It's sad. I wish I could have friends. Like I feel like I've been open more to making friends, like talking more, but still I feel like I don't fit in. Like I just feel awkwardly left out, and I'm awkward. I'm weird. I'm straight up weird. I don't know anyone who's like me IRL. Like maybe online, yes, but in real life, I'm so fucking lonely. Like I like being alone. I like having my own time and, you know, having my own space. But dude, it gets so lonely. I hope this one real friend is not like the other one that cheated on you and stole from you. No, I don't know him in real life, but I really, I guess we're there for one another, you know. We understand. It's like it's like I met that Todd again, like that kid who understands the pain, who's going through it probably even worse, and it's just being able to have a distraction. Well, not a distraction, but like feel happiness again. And I feel like I'm very addicted to feeling happiness, like getting dopamine. And I used to smoke weed, I used to like get drunk, and I used to do a combination of things to just feel happiness. And now I'm like, I still want to, I'm not gonna lie, but it's just like a cheap thrill. Once you get the taste of the real thing, it's like, ooh, you know? Like coming home, turning on the computer, watching like a really good show and having like your favorite food. And it's having that warm, fuzzy feeling like, holy shit, this is the bomb. Or coming home and it's raining outside and your bed is super warm. You have the best music and a really good book. You know, like the honest, real, healthy things. Or I don't know, like I can't wait for the day where I get to come home and just like hug my partner. Or like I can't wait for the day that I love someone so much and we have a baby together. Like I just things like that keep me on track. But you know, there's days where I'm just like, dude, I really want to jump into traffic. Like I really want to get the elevator to the toppest, tippy toppest floor and just jump. But then I think about like, wait, I still have a little bit more of goodness. I still have a little bit more, you know. That works for me. Like, "Oh, I don't want to do this. I'm scared. I'm scared. I don't want to go to this job interview. I don't want to do this. I'm scared." And I think about, but I want a family. I want to do this. If I can't do this, then how would I feed my babies? Like I is don't ever leave. You don't either, Nugget Thugget. Don't you dare leave. Every stream needs a Nugget Thugget, so please don't leave. You're very important. Everybody's important. You just have to realize what you want in life and what makes you happy. Because life is a piece of shit, dude. Like, life is horrible. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It's pretty harsh. It's a harsh life. But I'm not going anywhere. My soul picked my mom for a reason. Everything's for a reason. So, thank you for the follow. Thank you, thank you. But no, I won't leave. I won't leave. Um, Sorry, I just got like this random message from someone. It's a message request. I'm sorry, my dude. Like, if you, I don't talk to strangers. Like, maybe if you, okay, whatever. Sorry, I'm not gonna be on my phone. Yeah, I'm gonna have my diploma picture taken on Tuesday. Is lucky. I don't know, Nugget Thugget. I feel like I have so much trauma that I'm like a straight up bitch. You would think I'm loving and doving. Like, yes, I'm very cold, but when I love someone, I become very, very like jello. Like you may think like, oh, she's a hard-working woman and this and that, but once you get to meet me, I'm a baby. Like I'm soft, I'm weak, and I'm very I'm very pushy. Like I get very I'm used to people yelling things and very being very negative, and I've I feel like I'm repeating that. I don't have school tomorrow. I just yeah, so um I I had my first boyfriend when I was 15, I guess. Yeah, 15. We dated for 7 years. He cheated on me within the first 2 years, and I forgave his infidelity, my dumbass. He got another woman pregnant, and that's when I finally reacted, and I'm just like, what the fuck am I doing? I left him. I left him for another, like, I got involved with another man. We, when I got involved with this other guy, I never knew what being a narcissist was until I met him. He was in jail. He had been in jail for 2 years for first degree manslaughter. He never really wanted to tell me why. But he would beat the shit out of me, like really, 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 really bad. And it was like, I was repeating my my abuse. I was used to thinking that was love. Even though like you cry and you say I want things to change or whatever, you're used to that shit. You have to internally change and what figure out self-love. Like seriously, figure out self-love. And yeah, I grew the fuck up and I left him. And it's just been me, myself, and I. And men do approach me. Well, they don't. They don't. That's a lie. But like men, I don't know. I feel like men are intimidated by me. Like no one approaches me. I swear to God. Like recently, well, not recently, but it hasn't, probably like 2, 3 years, has a man ever told me I'm beautiful. Like I never has that ever happened to me. And this guy was just like, you're so beautiful. Do you know that? And I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, what is this? Like, what? It was so weird. And he was like, what do you mean no one has said that to you? And I'm just like, no, dude. Like I'm used to men just, catcalling me and like saying crap, but like never has a man ever said I was like, well, I guess here on chat, yes, but like never in person. And he was so surprised by that. And I'm just like, dude, it's never happened to me. Swear to God. Like I feel people get really intimidated by me. And whenever I speak, everybody goes quiet. And I hate that bullshit. I don't know why people do that. Like I know I'm mysterious. I know I don't say much, because I don't care. Like who are they to know my life? Like I don't care. Like, no one knows about my abuse. No one knows about my accident. No one, like, I don't say anything. And I have such a way that I don't know, people don't even notice about my hand. And I'm so used to just being lonely, even though I don't want it to be that way, but it's like that. And it's fine. I don't care. Fuck it, whatever. But sometimes, I see couples, I see people happy, and I'm just like, I want some of that. How do you get that? But I guess maybe I even look happy sometimes when I'm not. So I bought this lemonade from the market today and it's ass, dude. It tastes so bad. I'm sorry I wasn't here. What's the thing about the hand? I had an accident um with a metallic manhole, like the yeah, the metallic lid manhole, those lids that they have on the street for the sewers, those metallic ones where the Ninja Turtles come out of. I cut them. I Metallic lid. Yes, thank you. I cut my fingers on them on a metallic lid. What do you study? I've always been really good at selling. Like I started working when I was around 17, around the time that my mom kicked me out. But I started working in a call center and I was selling like surge protectors, remote control skins, and like stuff like that. And I became top salesman. And then I got into uh being what's it called? A financial consultant, also through the phone. And I would call people who were in debt and I would arrange payment arrangements and I would just talk to people who got loans and help them with their credit. And I became really good at it. And I also became top well, not salesman, but like top consultant. And I was making good money. And it was something natural that came to me when it came to like marketing, negotiating, and just business. Natural. So I always hated society. I feel like I don't fit in, but that came natural to me. And I was like, why don't I study something based off business? So I got into international business and trade, and it's natural to me. It's very, very natural. Like it. like to a certain point, it becomes too easy that it's like so boring for me. But at the same time, I know that I'm not gonna do anything else for society because you know, at least something that's easy and that won't kill my soul. I can give that. So yeah, international business and trade, which is basically like um, laws involving import and export of whatever product. I don't know, depending on whatever. Just categorizing and just all the laws that come with. Uno de las funditas, ¿no? Que están ahí, de la, de una de las sábanas. De esa azul hasta queda, ¿no? I identify with some things that you said. Should I be worried? Well, you're a lonely sickos. What can I say? It's fine. I don't think it's a bad thing. Pues sabe, la neta ni me acuerdo de quién hablas. No, ya sé que me decías, mam. No mames. I should probably eat something. What the hell is this? Okay, well, I'm a I'm gonna end the stream here. I'm gonna go get something to eat and I don't know, eat Oreos with milk. Dude, if you're lactose intolerant, I'm sorry for you. I am too, but I still ch be chugging milk. When I was 7, she was 16. I I also did, but I was a kid when my abuse happened. When will you be back? I don't know, Nugget. Like, I'm a I've been busy with school and work, and I'm soon gonna be back to the office. You've never? Why? Are you traumatized? Are you scared? Dude, that comes to mind with a couple of things that happened to me too, somehow. But I'm gonna the book I can recommend you guys is uh Lois Hay. Like Lois Hay, just listen to whatever audiobook that she has, and it makes you more, I don't want to say that it helps, but it makes you like understand better the feeling. Like maybe this time you don't know how to explain how you feel or like to describe the feeling, but when you read her books, like she connects a lot of the dots and you're just like, "Oh, that's what it is." I feel extremely uncomfortable. Well, it's not something you need, so it's fine. Unless you think it's a problem, then because I have a couple of things. Let me just. I know what you mean. I know what you mean, dude. I know. Dude, I'm typing this because like What's the book? It's Lois Hay. Let me search it up. I think it was like 10 confirmations or reasons why. Give me a minute. Here, a hundred affirmations. But she has a lot of good, good stuff. Like I swear that she gets it, you know? But whatever you have from Lois Hay is just look, I'll put in this one. It's also really mm, so I avoid it a lot. I just get so mad with myself in the same time. Dude, oh God, I know what you feel. Like just um I'm I was molested when I was 4, 5 by an aunt, and uh, she did a couple of things with me with a battery. So it's just like my brain blocks it out, but I know what happened and I know that how uncomfortable I felt. And then I was molested when I was on the bus. The first penis I ever saw in my life was a man on the bus, and he you know, I thought it was a toy. Like I swear to God, I've never seen a penis in my life, and that was the first penis I ever saw. And he came all over me. Um, I was I was underage. I had my little school uniform, and I just cried severely cried. And it took a while. And when I was with my first boyfriend, that we dated for 7 years, um, I did end up having sex with him, and it seemed very loving. I never had a problem, but then he started becoming very, he loved drinking, he loved saying things, and he started belittling me, and he was obviously cheating on me, and he was just using me. So I became very disgusted with my body, and I'm asexual, and a lot of men don't understand that. It's I don't know how to describe my asexuality. It's more of I was it's like you have food on the table, but you're just not hungry. You know, it's not that I can't. It's just that I just don't need it, you know? And maybe the last time I gazed into the mirror gazed back, and I woke from a daze, I realized that I was a reflection of my subconscious mind. I find not writing. I feel so through longer the hole in the past who I am, and I still locked away that house of mirrors I shall forget owned as still solar cruising up upon tranquil sleep beaches thee, and the twice I ask, and I, the one who has seen. Look at you. Dude, don't know who. I don't want to have a self-conscious mind right now. I don't want to think about what I see and what I feel. I hate being human sometimes, I swear to God. My favorite snack, goldfishes. She used to babysit me, and one day she asked if. At least that's what I remember. But it was weird because I knew somehow that was a thing that men like and actually remember to like. You know, I saw this recent documentary of she was being sexually molested by her uncle, and she experienced her first orgasm with her uncle. So a lot of the things that she thought she couldn't, she excused it away that way. You know, she thought. that I don't know how to explain it, but she associated her feeling well as a thing of it has to be that way, like he knows my body more than anyone. Or, you know, we are humans. There is, billions of humans. Obviously, sex is everywhere, sex sells. But a lot of the people who end up molesting are because them themselves were molested, and they pass on that cycle of like abuse. And it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard, and you'll never forget. And I honestly don't have anything to help you, but I understand. And I'm sorry that you had to go through that. I'm sorry that maybe the only way you can say it is online through a chat, but it's okay. I don't judge you. This is a free space. This is me. This is Lonely Sickos. We all have something. This one guy told me, he's like, we're all corroded. We're all rotting inside. And I'm just like, yep. Even though it sounds bad, but like there's always something. And if you don't have anything, I fucking envy you. I envy you. It's really rare for me to have like sexual attraction to anyone. So, I during my whole lifetime, I've only been sexually attracted to two people. Two people. And it's crazy. It really is. And I think sometimes, and I'm like, imagine actually being mentally well. Well, I'm not saying that it's a mental thing, but imagine not being asexual and being like, oh my God, this person is so attractive. I would like to fuck them. That's so weird. I've never told in real life to anyone. I understand. I don't blame you. For me, oh my God, I've never told anyone in real life what my aunt did to me. It's a lot of messed up things. Just to some friends in my WhatsApp. I think the first step is telling. And I feel like some men don't say, some women don't, men and women don't say because they're like, what does that change? How does that help me? But honestly, once you start sharing, you liberate. You like, you share your pain and it helps. Doing a realization with what you said. I, don't- I guess as for a man, you're expected to be like, oh, he's a player, like, oh, he gets hella bitches and stuff. But I can't imagine how hard it must be to have that association of, experiencing something that should be done in between people who love each other and in between a safe space in the right age. I see on the table the food and I want to eat it, but I can't move to do it. See, now you can start. I wouldn't say like self-diagnosed, but like start investigating. Like start seeing what other people say, what people who experience that, because I never knew I was asexual until I kept like I felt like something was wrong with me. Like there was a time where I was even into girls, like I was everywhere, but it wasn't that. I can fall in love emotionally. I can fall in love with both female and male. but I can only be sexual with male and a very, 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 very selective amount of males. But I can fall in love emotionally. And, like if I tell a guy, like, you know what, you like me, you want to date me, but I don't see you in a sexual way. And more than likely, I'll never see you in a sexual way. And they don't like that shit. But I'm being honest to myself, and it's fine. I don't care. You're gonna go out on Tuesday? Don't, if you feel ready, then do so. But don't push yourself. You're lucky you're going out with someone, hell. Look at you. Kind of date, it's complicated. But it's something. It's something. That's nice. Just be you. You don't have to right away do anything. I look like shit right now, but it's fine. I don't have any makeup or anything. But that doesn't matter. It's not like I'm here for any to please anyone. I'm here to be me, for you guys not to be alone, to give you courage. You can do it. To have the courage. You will have the courage. Just don't. I really. Just be you. That's like such a dry, dumb thing to say, but find a way to say it. Find a way to get that pain, that memory, to get those unpleasant feelings out. You have to find a way. Either it's therapy, um, I don't know. There has to be a way that makes you forget, that makes you happy. Self-love. The good thing is that she knows it, so I feel way more That's good. That's really good. That's really good. That's nice that that she knows and she's sweet about it because some of us are pretty harsh. She's also kind of weird when it comes to love. Aren't we all kind of weird? Like the actual good people, aren't we weird? I feel like everybody, well, not everybody, but like weird people love weird people love in a weird way. It's normal. And being weird isn't a bad thing. It's a bad thing for NPCs. You have to be kind of weird to be cool. And I guess you have to go through a lot of trauma to be kind of funny. It's like, oh, when the funny kid in the class starts telling you about his trauma, and everybody's like, oh, there, I don't know, dude, I don't know. It's correlations. It gives you spice. Don't worry, on Tuesday you'll do great. Just, just be yourself. She knows, so everything's gonna be okay. I don't know when I'm gonna stream again. I'm feeling kind of hungry, and I'm gonna go eat something because I'm just eating crackers, and that's not a good thing. I'm eating some cheese crackers. They're really good. If you never tried goldfish, you should try goldfish. They're good. Hope so. Don't hope so. Know so. Trust me. If you, I don't want to say manifest, but if you believe in yourself to the certain point where you honestly keep repeating it, it happens. So by you leaving space of doubt, there's still a possibility that something can happen bad. So don't leave space for that. Just know what you're gonna do. Be confident. Swear to God, energies are so weird. But trust me, one of the best things you can do is that. Never leave room for like fear. Even though you think about it, you can think about it, but don't say it out loud. Don't write about it. Be like, I'm gonna be the shit. Even though inside your head you're like, I'm scared. I'm scared of doing this. Say it. Be like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. And trust me, it helps. Okay, Pepe Milk. Okay. You okay? You okay, baby? Okay, let me go. I hope I can stream again soon. You Streaming is always in my head. Nugget, you guys are always on my mind. Like really, I really super enjoy streaming. It gives me a moral boost. It makes me talk, and I can finally hear my voice again. I've never seen the snack. Is that a cereal? It's not a cereal. It's goldfish. It's crackers. It has yeah, it's crackers. They give it in elementary schools. Um, I miss you a lot. I miss you a lot too, Nugget, but I gotta get this bread, I have to finish school. I have so much to do. I'm a busy woman. I'm gonna graduate soon. But I'm never gonna stop streaming. I'll be back. I'll do it again. We don't have it in Brazil. You guys don't have it in Brazil? Well, I got this here in Mexico. That's kind of that's kind of sad you guys don't have it in Brazil. Yeah, yeah, I be living in Mexico. At least I've never seen it. Maybe in the international section, if you have like Walmart or HEB, um, Costco, but I don't know what type of stores they have down there in Brazil. But you can do it. You're ready for Tuesday. And I'll come, I'll stream as soon as I can. And I miss you guys. You guys mean a lot. This is Lonely Sickos. There's a reason for my name now. What? Walmart did go bankrupt down there? Well, nah. No, you probably won't find goldfishes. You probably have to buy it from Amazon then. But they're really good. It's just like cheese. It's like having those cheese sticks. But yeah, it's really good. I like it. Well, anyways, you guys. Bye, 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 bye. I need to go. I need to go eat something. So have a wonderful day, night, morning, wherever you are. Milk is giving you a nice little scene of her cleaning her little belly and face. Um, Carry 4. That's not even here. I don't even know what that is. A huge thing here. Well, it's okay. You don't have to try them out, but they're pretty good. It's like cheese. So take care. Be safe. It's French. No, dude, there's no French things here in Mexico. You get more like the American style stuff, but you don't get like international stuff. But anyways, let me go. You guys take care. Have a wonderful morning, evening, afternoon. Have a wonderful sit, lay, wherever you guys are. Take care. People do care, and I love you. Take care, okay? Take care. Take care. See you guys next time. Bye 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 bye. You'll do well on Tuesday. Bye bye.